In the quiet suburbs of America, where manicured lawns hide secrets and million-dollar homes stand as monuments to success, greed can turn deadly. Tonight, we dive into one of the most chilling unsolved murders in recent history, the brutal slaying of a self-made millionaire whose fortune became his death sentence. This is the story of Elias Harrington, a man who rose from nothing to everything, only to lose it all in a night of betrayal. They called it the greed that killed, and decades later, the killer or killers still walk free. What price would you pay for wealth? And what happens when someone decides your life is worth less than your money? Stick with me, because this case will make you question everyone around you. Elias Harrington was born in 1955 in a small Rust Belt town in Ohio. His father worked double shifts at a steel mill. His mother cleaned houses to make ends meet. Elias grew up watching his parents struggle, vowing he'd never live paycheck to paycheck. He was smart, ruthless, some would say. By age 25, he'd started a small construction company flipping houses during the 1980s real estate boom. He spotted opportunities others missed, abandoned factories, foreclosed properties. He borrowed heavily, risked everything, and won big. By the 1990s, Harrington Developments was a powerhouse in the Midwest. Luxury condos, shopping centers, office parks. Elias built them all. Forbes estimated his net worth at over $400 million by 2005. He owned a private jet, a fleet of classic cars, and a sprawling 20,000 square foot mansion on 50 acres outside Chicago, complete with a home theater, wine cellar, and indoor pool. But success came at a cost. Elias was known as a hard man. He drove brutal bargains, sued contractors for minor delays, and cut ties with anyone who crossed him. Business isn't personal, he'd say. It's survival. He married twice. First to college sweetheart Laura, who gave him 2 children, son Marcus and daughter Sophia. The marriage ended bitterly in 1992 when Laura accused him of hiding assets during the divorce. She walked away with $20 million, but Elias fought her every step, dragging the case through courts for years. His second wife, Vanessa, 20 years younger, a former model he'd met at a charity gala, seemed like the perfect trophy. They married in 2000, no prenup. Vanessa loved the lifestyle. Yachts in the Caribbean, shopping sprees in Paris. But whispers around their circle said she grew frustrated. Elias controlled every penny. She had an allowance, not access. Then there were the kids. Marcus, the eldest son, was the golden child, or so Elias thought. He groomed Marcus to take over the company, putting him on the board at age 28. But Marcus had expensive tastes. Fast cars, private clubs, failed investments in crypto and startups. He'd borrowed millions from his father, loans Elias kept extending, but with strings attached. One day, this will all be yours, Elias would say, but earn it. Sophia, the daughter, was different. She rebelled early, studying art in New York, distancing herself from the family empire. Elias cut her off financially after she refused to join the business. "If you want independence, fund it yourself," he told her. She hadn't spoken to him in years, living modestly on gallery jobs, but rumors said she harbored deep resentment. And don't forget the extended family. Elias's younger brother, Victor, had worked for him early on but was fired after a heated argument over profits. Victor claimed Elias cheated him out of millions in a joint venture gone sour. They hadn't spoken in 15 years, but Victor lived comfortably, suspiciously so, on investments. Finally, there was the inner circle. Longtime accountant Richard Klein, who knew every offshore account, and personal assistant Megan Holt, a sharp 35-year-old who'd been with Elias for a decade, handling everything from schedules to secrets. Some said she was more than an assistant, but Elias denied it. On the surface, Elias Harrington had it all, but beneath, cracks were forming. In the months leading up to his death, Elias grew paranoid. He installed new security cameras around the mansion, changed the locks, hired a private investigator to look into threats. Friends said he mentioned rewriting his will again. The current one left 60% to Marcus, 20% to Vanessa, 10% to charity, and the rest scattered. Sophia got nothing. Victor, zilch. Elias confided in his lawyer. People think they deserve what I've built, but I built it alone. They'll get what's fair after I'm gone. Little did he know, someone couldn't wait. It was October 14th, 2018, a crisp fall evening. Elias had just returned from a business trip to Dubai, closing a $100 million deal on a luxury resort. He was in high spirits, hosting a small family dinner at the mansion to celebrate. Guests, Vanessa, Marcus, and, surprisingly, Sophia, who'd flown in after Elias reached out, hinting at reconciliation. Richard the accountant was there for paperwork. Megan the assistant helped serve. Victor? Invited but declined, citing illness. Dinner was tense. Witnesses later said arguments erupted over money. Marcus pushed for a bigger role in the company and access to funds for a new venture. Vanessa complained about her allowance. Sophia accused her father of emotional neglect. Elias shut them down. This isn't the time. By 10 p.m., guests left. Security footage shows Marcus's car departing at 10:15. Vanessa retiring to the guest wing, Sophia to her old room upstairs. Elias stayed in his study, reviewing documents. That's the last time he was seen alive. At 6:47 a.m. the next morning, the housekeeper, Maria Gonzalez, a trusted employee of 20 years, arrived. She let herself in with her key. The alarm was off. Unusual. She called out for Elias. No answer. She headed to the study and screamed. Elias Harrington was slumped over his desk, a single gunshot wound to the back of the head, execution style. Blood pooled on antique Persian rug. No sign of struggle. The safe behind his portrait was open, empty. Missing $2 million in cash, bearer bonds worth $10 million, and a flash drive containing offshore account details. But here's the twist. The mansion's security system showed no breaches, no forced entry. Cameras captured nothing unusual after guests left. The killer knew the codes, knew the layout. Police arrived within minutes. The scene was pristine. Too pristine. No fingerprints except Elias's. The murder weapon? A .38 revolver registered to Elias himself, wiped clean, found in the garden pond 50 yards away. Suicide? Impossible. The angle was wrong, shot from behind while seated. And Elias had everything to live for. This was murder. Cold, calculated, and personal. Detectives zeroed in on suspects immediately. Greed was the motive, obvious. Who stood to gain the most? First, Marcus Harrington. The heir apparent was drowning in debt, $15 million in bad investments. Days before the murder, he'd argued with Elias over a $5 million loan request. Denied. Phone records showed Marcus searched untraceable poisons and silent guns weeks earlier. Alibi? He claimed to be home alone. No witnesses, but Marcus swore innocence. My father was tough, but I loved him. I'd never... Next, Vanessa. The trophy wife had been overheard telling friends, "I'm trapped in a gilded cage." She knew Elias was considering divorce, and a prenup retroactively limiting her share. Life insurance? $50 million policy, double indemnity for murder. She was in the house that night. Alibi, asleep upstairs. But her bedroom door camera showed her leaving at 1 a.m., returning at 3. Couldn't sleep, she said. Sophia? The estranged daughter had motive, years of resentment, cut from the will. She flew in just days before, rare. Her alibi, sleeping in her room. But a neighbor reported seeing a figure matching her description near the pond around 2 a.m. Victor, the brother? He had a rock-solid alibi. Hospital records for illness. But detectives found he hired a PI to tail Elias months earlier. And anonymous tips claimed Victor boasted, "Elias stole my share. Karma's coming." Richard the accountant, he managed the missing bonds. Embezzlement suspicions arose. $8 million unaccounted for in company books. He was the last non-family guest to leave. Megan, the assistant, she had full access codes. Rumors of an affair, rejected by Elias recently. Hell hath no fury. Plus, she quit suddenly after the murder, moving to Europe with unexplained wealth. The investigation dragged on. Polygraphs. Everyone failed or refused. Searches turned up nothing concrete. The flash drive? Never recovered, potentially worth hundreds of millions in hidden assets. Forensics? The bullet matched Elias's gun, but no GSR on suspects. Time of death, between midnight and 4 a.m. Twists piled up. A burner phone called Elias hours before death, traced to a prepaid bought near Marcus's home. Anonymous letters to police accused Vanessa of hiring a hitman. A gardener claimed seeing Victor's car near the estate that night, despite the alibi. Yet no arrests. Evidence circumstantial, the family lawyered up with the best. Trials would be messy. Public prosecutors feared acquittal. Years passed. The estate frozen in probate battles. Marcus sued Vanessa for control. Sophia claimed emotional duress for a share. Victor emerged, demanding family rights. In 2023, a deathbed confession from a former contractor, jailed for unrelated fraud, claimed Elias hired him to fake threats for insurance scams. But he knew nothing of the murder. The case went cold. Officially unsolved. So, who killed Elias Harrington? Was it the desperate son blinded by debt and entitlement? The frustrated wife tired of playing second fiddle? The bitter daughter seeking revenge wrapped in reconciliation? The jealous brother settling a decades-old score? Or someone closer? An insider profiting from chaos? Greed didn't just kill Elias. It tore a family apart, exposed ugly truths about wealth, and left justice hanging. Elias built an empire on ambition, but he forgot. The higher you climb, the more people want to pull you down. And money? It can't buy trust, or loyalty, or a second chance. The moral here is clear. Greed corrupts absolutely. It turns loved ones into suspects, dreams into nightmares. True wealth isn't in bank accounts. It's in relationships built on honesty, not fear. Elias Harrington learned that too late. His killer? Still out there, enjoying the fortune, or haunted by it. What do you think happened? Who do you suspect most? Comment below. And remember, in the game of greed, everyone loses in the end. This has been The Greed That Killed. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more unsolved mysteries that teach life's hardest lessons. Stay safe and watch who you trust.